Hello, friends. Welcome to today's football predictions on Betkraft. Okay, today is another beautiful Tuesday morning, and as usual, we have so many games that's going on across the globe. But among these many, we were able to select a few of them, and have a close look into these games, and we're able to make our verdict on this very matches based on the recent games that they have played, and as well as the performances from home and away perspective, and we made our values on these very games. And in a short while, we'll be looking at these matches one after the other. And I want to ask those of us who are coming across our video for the first time to kindly take our time to hit the subscription button so that you will not be missing out on our daily games that will always come up on this very channel on a daily basis. Okay, and in a short while, without further ado, we'll be looking at these matches, and we'll be starting with the very first match. It is in England League Trophy, EFL Cup, where we have Accrington Stanley coming up against Stockport County. And when you look at the home side, Accrington Stanley, they've not been able to win a single match in the past six recent games that they had so far. They've had two draws, but they've lost 4 games out of those 6 games that they played out in recent time. And Stockport, their away side, have won 3 games, 1 draw, and they've had 2 losses in the past recent 6 games that they had so far. And when you look at how these two teams have performed from home and away perspective, you can see that from home, Accrington Stanley in the past 10 home games have won just 1 game, but have been able to achieve 4 draws, but have lost 5 times in the past 10 home games that they played. And Stockport, on the other hand, have won 5 games from away. They've also had 4 losses, but 1 draw in the past 10 away games that they had so far. And that tells you that the home side is doing poorly, in that they've only managed to achieve 1 win in the past 10 home games that they had so far. So when you put all that together, and also looking at the last time both teams met, the last 2 times they met saw Stockport actually winning. We saw them defeating Accrington Stanley from away. That was September last year by 3 goals to 1. And also this year, earlier this year, they were able to defeat Accrington Stanley from home by 4 goals to 2. That being said, it is the away side that we do expect to achieve a result in this. And fighting for this very encounter, it actually away side to win or draw and under 4.5. That's our verdict for that very game. And that takes us to the next for today. It is in England, National League South. We'll have Eastbourne Borough coming up against Enfield Town. And the home side, Eastbourne Borough have managed 3 victories, and have also lost 1 in the past 6 games, but have had 2 draws as well. And the away side, Enfield Town, have managed 1 win in the past 6. They've had 5 losses in the past 6 recent encounters. And when you take a look at how these two teams have performed from home and away perspective, you can see that Eastbourne Borough have been able to achieve, they've achieved 6 victories in the past 10 home games, and they've also had 3 draws and 1 loss in the past 10 home games that they had so far. And the away side, on the other hand, Enfield Town have managed to win 5 games from away, and they've lost 4, and also they've achieved 1 draw in the past 10 away games that they had so far. And the last 2 times they met on, they play now to 1-1 draw. And in this very game, we will expect to see the home side being slightly dominant, because from the statistics, they looks like the home side is favored to pick up the sport in this very game. But we're going to expect to see a minimum of 2 goals occurring in this very encounter. Over 1.5, that's our verdict for that very game. Okay, and that takes us to the next for the day. It is in also National League North. We'll have Rushall Olympic coming up against Marine. And Rushall Olympic have won just 1 game in the past 6, and they've also had 5 losses actually in the past 6 games that they have so far. And the away side, Marine, have managed to achieve 1 victory, 2 draws, as well as 3 losses in the past 6 recent encounters. And when you look at how these two teams have fared from home and away perspective, you can see that Rushall Olympics in the past 10 home games have actually been able to achieve 5 victories, but have also had 2 draws as well as 3 losses in the past 10 home games that they had. And we signed on them here. Marine have actually won 7 games from away, and they've had 3 losses in the past 10 encounters from away. And that tells you that this is a team that's doing very well. Even from away, they've been able to win 7 games out of the past 10 that have played so far. and that tells you that Marine is a very fine team and they're doing very well at the moment. And when you put all this together, the last time they met was in 2018, although we sort of playing out a 2-2 draw on that occasion. And in this very game, we will expect to see a minimum of 2 goals appearing in this very one. It is an over 1.5. That's what we chose for this very encounter. Okay, and that takes us to the next. Also in England, but in England Football League Trophy, and we will have Doncaster Rovers who will be up against against Huddersfield Town. And when you look at Doncaster, they have won 4 games and they've lost 2 out of the past 6 games that they had in recent times. And looking at the away side, Huddersfield Town, they have had 4 wins as well, losing 2 in the past recent 6 games that they had. When you look at how the 2 teams have performed from home and away perspective, you can also see that home side Doncaster Rovers have won 8 games out of the past 10 home games, and they've had 2 losses as well. And Huddersfield Town, the past 10 away games, have managed to achieve 4 victories from away. They've also had 2 draws and they've lost 4 games in the past 10 away games that they had so far. And looking at how these 2 teams have played in recent times, and the last time they met was in 2022, that's 2 years ago. We saw Doncaster Rovers defeating the side on that occasion by 1-0. And prior to that, we also saw Huddersfield from away also defeating the side by 2-0. And in this very game, our verdict is actually centered around it's either side winning in this very game. It is either side to win 12. That's what we expect in this very encounter. Okay, and that takes us to the next for the day. It is in Denmark Cup, where we have VSK Aarhus coming up against the Aarhus Fremad. And looking at VSK, they have been able to achieve 4 victories in the recent 6 games that they had, and have lost 2 out of those recent games. And Fremad, the away side, have managed to win 3 games from away. From the recent games, they've actually lost 2 and they've had 1 draw in the past 6 games that they have so far. And when you look at performances from home and away from both sides, we see that home side VSK Aarhus have managed to achieve 5 victories in the past 10 home games, and they have lost 5 out of those 10 home games that they played out so far. And the away side, on the other hand, Fremad have managed to achieve 5 wins from away, but they've lost 4 games, and they've also had 1 draw in the past 10 away games that they have so far. And I also know that VSK is playing in lower league compared to Fremad. Fremad is in Denmark 2nd division, but VSK Aarhus is actually in the 3rd division. And when you look at how these 2 teams, there have not been a time that they met. There's no record of head-to-head performances for both sides. To compare how they perform in the past 8 meetings. But in this very encounter, judging by the fact that Fremad is actually in a very strong league and they've been able to achieve 5 victories from away, we will expect to see Fremad achieving a victory against the lower side in this very cup game. It is away side Fremad that is expected to win. Away win out shortly. That's our verdict for that very encounter. Okay, that takes us to the next for the day. It is in Argentine Premier Division C, where we have Claypole coming up against Real Pilar. Okay, and the Claypole have managed to achieve 1 victory in the past the past 6 recent games, and they've had 2 draws as well as 3 losses. And away side Real Pilar have had 3 victories in the past 6, and they've also had 3 draws as well. And when you take a look at how they have performed from home and away perspective, you can also see that for the home side, Claypole, they've actually managed to achieve 3 victories from home, and they've also had 2 losses, 3 losses as well, and 4 draws in the past 10 home games that they had. And looking at the away side, Real Pilar, you see that from away they've been able to achieve 3 victories, but they've had 7 draws in the past 10 away games. They've not lost a single match from away, and but they've been able to win 30% of their away games, drawing 7 out of those 10 away games. That tells you a lot about this side. It's not a side that is ready to lose even when they are playing from away. And when you put all that together, we see that away side is actually favored in this very one. But looking at the head-to-head perspective for both sides, we see that the last time they met, we saw Real Pilar, who played from home on that occasion, winning Claypole by 2-0. And prior to that, was also Real Pilar also defeating Claypole by 1-0. That was last year, August. And in this very encounter, we still do expect Real Pilar away side, who has actually refused to lose in the past 10 away games, to achieve a result in this very game, and we do expect to see away side either to win or draw and under 4.5 That's all value for that right game. Okay, and that brings our predictions for you today on Betkraft to a close. I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope that your ticket goes green. Now remember also to play responsibly. It's only a football game; anything can happen. Something can happen, and it goes either way. It goes not the way we plan. But I just hope that we'll be very lucky today. And tomorrow is another day, and we'll be coming up with our predictions on this very channel. But I don't want you to miss out. Remember that. And but until then, keep winning.